Hey podcaster, I'm Tim Wahlberg, your podcast performance coach, with another actionable tip so you can sound like a pro and gain more podcast fans. Today's tip is don't be a lazy podcaster. Now, I'm not talking about podcasting from your bed or your couch. However, if you did, or you're thinking of starting a new podcast from that position, I think a fun name would be The Horizontal. Well, by the way, I have an episode about whether you should sit or stand during your podcast. Lying down didn't make the list. Check out episode number 5 of Just the Tip if you want to hear that. Look, I get it. You're busy. You've got a lot going on. You've got commitments. And one of them is to put out your podcast every day, every week, or every couple of weeks. But every once in a while, you need to check yourself. You get a little comfortable. You're hitting cruise control a bit too often. Now, I'm not suggesting that you're phoning it in, but here are a couple of questions you can answer to see if you're becoming a lazy podcaster. Have you accepted a guest that doesn't serve your audience just because you needed one? Compromise. You're being lazy. Remember the promise you made to your listener. There's an expectation from your listener that you're not meeting, and you're letting them down. Having an irrelevant guest serves no one. Are you ignoring your audience or their feedback? It sounds like work to me. Hey, what are the topics or comments referring to on your social media pages? What are the questions about you get on email? Your people are talking to you. And if you're not getting any, take a look at your analytics. I know it means a few more clicks and your mouse is way over there and your wrists are sore. But just have a look at your most listened to episodes. That will tell you what your audience wants to hear from you. Are you hitting record without a plan? Are you winging it a little too often? Well, you may not be that good. You know why the pros sound so good? Because they put the work in. They prepare and have been doing so for years. Sure, they can wing it in a pinch, but they've got the chops and instincts to rely on. You need a plan going into each episode. A beginning, a middle, and an end. Have a goal for that episode. What's the takeaway? Sometimes a good conversation isn't enough. And have you mapped out your listener's next step in your call to action? Psst! Your listeners are lazy too. Tell them what to do, like this. Check out episode number 41 of Just the Tip on maximum listener engagement. Are you editing enough, or are you leaving crap in? Don't care. Don't care. Don't care. If you're bored, I guarantee your listener is too. If your content isn't relevant to your listener, edit it out. It's easy to get off track in conversations, but your audience shouldn't have to pay the price. Make notes as you go of what doesn't belong. Your listener won't know what they're missing, and that's okay because it didn't matter to them anyway. Don't waste their time. Are you ignoring audio quality? What? Take the extra 30 seconds to make sure the connection is good and audio quality of your guest is good and that your podcast sounds the best that it can sound. It might be as simple as getting a guest to lean in a little. Ignoring audio quality issues will lose listeners. If they can't hear or understand you or your guest, they're gone. Last question to determine if you're a lazy podcaster. How much time are you putting into your show notes? If the answer is show notes or less than 5 minutes, you may be doing it wrong. One of the laziest things you can do is post your transcribed audio of your episode as your show notes. Let that be a value-added downloadable PDF if people demand it. Your show notes should be SEO rich, thought-provoking, and give an undeniable reason to why someone would want to hit the play button. You're missing a big opportunity by mailing this one in. So if you find yourself saying, good enough, more often than not when you're putting together your podcast, you may be a lazy podcaster. And I hope that's just the tip you need. Are you horizontal right now? You may be lazy or simply overwhelmed, and that's why you've taken a few shortcuts in the past. Let me help you work smarter, not harder. With my 30 Days to a Better podcast program, you'll be more motivated than ever before and pumping out better episodes than you could have imagined. Check it out at podcastperformancecoach.com. I'm Tim Walberg. See ya!